I mean, because this is a big project, and I'm putting so much of other people's money and so much of my money into it too, and other people's time. And this is something that I want to remember, and this is, something that is important.
Yeah, I understand completely. Yeah, I got my arm. I have to specify which arm. The mechanical flowers, the kind of the half sleeve.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
I got that a few months after, and this is public knowledge, so don't be shocked if I'm saying this because I've made all of my life kind of public on my blog.
yeah.
After I had my overdose last year,
Uh-huh.
after a few months had passed, that's when I started to get better. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something really cool. I'm going to restart my life, and I'm going to do it with a tattoo. And it's going to be mechanical flowers that don't die. They're going to be mechanical robotic flowers, and they're beautiful, but they're also sturdy and really hardy. And so that's kind of where that came from. But oh, the pain that went into that sleeve, man. It it was like it went over 3 sessions, and by the third session, they're just scraping over skin that's already been scraped over, and I'm like, Jesus fuck, no. I just seriously, there was a moment there where I really thought I was gonna pass out, just from the intense pain.
Wow.
And normally it wouldn't be that intense if it wasn't just like one session. But because skin takes about 16 weeks to heal, give or take a few weeks.
I did not know.
Yeah. So, and I'm getting mine in sessions done after like
2 or 3 weeks.
4 to 8 weeks,
Oh.
not even 8 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks, and they're just scraping, and I'm like, oh my god, holy shit! And the sessions were about 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people are just like, oh, how long did that take? Oh, I don't know, 15 hours.
Oof.
Yeah, so it was.
Grimhound has a good question. Does scar tissue affect the ability to get tattoos?
No, it doesn't affect the ability to get a tattoo. You do have to. You do have to absolutely make sure that your scar is, quote, healed. Like the scar is now a scar. It is not continuing to be a scar. The skin is not open. It's not wounded. Um, you have to make sure it is in fact a scar now. But some people who have had severe scars, like burns leave horrible scars. Sometimes to cover them, they'll get tattoos over them, and they can play with the depth perception of a scar, and they can actually make it look kind of cool. So people can actually do some cool things with scarring.
That's very interesting. I do
But
know
yeah,
that some people, when they have mastectomies, they'll actually get a bra or something covering that area where they've lost a breast. And
hmm,
there's I saw several online where a man was or a woman, I don't where a photographer was capturing all of these, and they were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous displays, and they would usually make it like it was a bra of some sort. Where it would actually come down the sleeves and then kind of separate right here. And
hmm.
gorgeous stuff. But yeah, I was wondering about that too because of the scar tissue, about how that would affect the tattoo or anything.
Right. It wouldn't affect the tattoo. It might look different. One thing you can do, though, if you are prone to psoriasis or keloid scarring,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot get a tattoo. I mean, if you are prone to keloid scarring, you can, but it's going to have a very, very bad effect on you, and you will get keloid scars. So if you're prone to scarring, that will affect your ability to get a tattoo. If you have scars, if they're healed, and if they're not open, you can get tattoos. That shouldn't affect it. But I mean, always talk to your artist and show him, the scar and say, what can we do with this? And a really, really good artist would know what to do.
Mm.
You never want to subdue the client when you're giving a tattoo. You never want to have them out cold. That has caused problems in the past. where people have said they've fallen asleep or they passed out, and they use this and they say, oh, and I woke up with this awful tattoo. You always want to be aware. You always want to be aware when you are getting a tattoo. You want to know what's going on. You want to be alert. You always need to know what's going on. If you're subdued, that might even change body temperature. What if you jolt awake and you're subdued? There's a lot of different things that can happen if you subdue. I don't think that's actually legal. I could be wrong. I know you can't get a tattoo if you're drunk, at least not in the U.S. They won't do it. At least a good place won't do it. A less reputable place might. There is an anesthetic you can get. It does cost extra at the parlor, but it's a topical anesthetic that numbs you for a little bit. And like if you're just in severe pain and you just really can't handle it, and you can't handle it, they can apply a topical thing that will numb you and kind of ease that rawness for a little bit. But yeah, let's not be putting people under. We don't want lawsuits. And I woke up and I had this thing and it's like that. No, people will do it. You misunderestimate people's manipulation skills.
Wow. Well, I think it's I think the tats you have that I've seen have just been absolutely gorgeous. And to tell you the truth, my favorite one of yours is that old timey record player.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, God, I think that is just the most beautiful thing. The colors that they used, and I think that's part of it. Not only the artist and their talent, but the colors that they used, the light blues.
Yeah,
Are
I
always
know.
just.
I'm surprised, and it's my tattoo.
There was a girl that I met at one of the Renaissance festivals when I was working Renaissance festivals for a summer. Who had on the inside of her or on the back of her shoulder this tree, and it was a beautiful tree, very minimalistic. So it was very very line drawn, almost Celtic without the interweaving, if that makes sense. But it was this beautiful bushy tree where with this where all the leaves came out, and then you had the trunk, and it was several lines. It was all done in white ink.
Oh wow, those
it
are
was like,
really
yay,
trending right now.
Yeah, it was gorgeous, so gorgeous.
Yeah, they can be. They can be very very beautiful. I've seen like a couple like feather design tattoos in white ink, like kind of on the forearm.
Oh.
There. I think I'm not a big fan of white ink like incorporated into tattoos because sometimes it doesn't show. It has the ability to fade into kind of skin tone. But if you have that amount of white ink kind of in the design, it can be really, really effective.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the thing. She was kind of tan, so you couldn't really tell. But then when you looked at it, it's like the white ink went, "Hi, how's it going?" And you're like, "Oh God, there's something there," and you looked at it, and then your eyes started to catch more things. It was really, really beautiful.
That is really cool. I'm pale, 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 pale. So I probably wouldn't opt for white ink, but instead, since I know my skin color, I can get those bright colors. I can get the blues and the greens and the reds. They show up quite nicely. So I say if you're pale, then you should go get tattooed. You got perfect skin for that.
Yeah.
Tattoo artists like really pale canvases to work on.
Now I've heard in the past about people who get tattoos. You're not supposed to have it out in the sun because is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
First and foremost, after you get your tattoo, don't fucking go out in the sun. You just damage your skin. Do not go out in the sun. Keep it moisturized. Oh, here's another thing. I'm going to debunk this real quick.
Please.
Do not. Some people, and you'll find this online because the internet is full of false information, like putting petroleum jelly on the tattoo after it's healed. You do not ever want to put petroleum jelly on a tattoo because petroleum jelly will suffocate your skin and you will get an infection.
Okay, so what do you use?
You can use a non-scented like Lubriderm, but it should be non-scented.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lubriderm is just a very, very basic lotion that you can put. Vaseline, yeah, do not use Vaseline. That will suffocate your skin, and you could get an infection that way. But yeah, Lubriderm, non-scented.
Would you use Neosporin?
No, I wouldn't use Neosporin. Neosporin is kind of like an antibiotic for your skin.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily. Here's
You
the
just
thing.
stabbed your skin is the reason why I'm thinking.
No, I know. I totally get your thinking. It's just that the body is actually quite resilient. You can do nothing to your tattoo and just kind of leave it be, and it will heal on its own, because that is what the skin does. That is what the body does. The reason you put lotion on your tattoo is because it will crack and get dry and itchy, and it's preventing you from itching your skin and itching the skin off. That's really the only reason. You don't want to necessarily force the healing process, especially with something as potent as Neosporin. So you would want to use just a lotion to help you for the cracking, because cracking is painful. I mean, have you ever had a sunburn and your skin is cracking?
Oh yeah.
It's very painful. So you want to put something on it to help you deal with it. It's not the lotion that you put on. It's not for healing you. It's for helping you deal with its own healing process.
Kenilwin says, would you suggest aloe?
No, I wouldn't suggest aloe. Even though it feels like a sunburn, it's not a sunburn. That's what you have to keep in mind. It might feel that way, but aloe is good for, sunburns, really red, irritable skin. You just got back from a vacation. You want to put aloe to soothe it.
Okay.
Or even like shave burns, you can use aloe for, but not for a tattoo. For a tattoo, you definitely want to use like a non-scented. It can be Nivea as long as it's non-scented. And the only reason I say non-scented is because some people have an irritation to that. So it's the safest thing, really. I have an irritation to scented lotion. So I just use the most basic thing that you can buy, or most tattoo shops will have an ointment as well. And if it's a reputable tattoo shop, you can go ahead and get it. But to really get your money's worth, you just want a really, really basic Lubriderm, non-scented.
Go to Walmart, go to Walgreens, get it there or something, yeah.
Yeah. And back to kind of your question, Justin, even after that tattoo is healed, if you spend a lot of time in the sun, it will fade. It will fade over time. So you kind of want to be careful about that. I don't go out in the sun too much, and I use sunscreen. That's so important, when you have a tattoo, especially big ones, like mine. So they will fade over time. It is skin, the skin gets exfoliated off, and it fades over time. That's why people get them touched up, and a good tattoo every 15 years get it touched up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it should last. If it doesn't last, they didn't do it right. I hope we're all feeling educated.
I'm feeling very educated, because this is a big thing to put something on your skin permanently. Let's face facts. This is a permanent change to your thing that you will be doing. That's gotta, you've got to take time and be educated about the smart thing that you're going to do.
Oh yeah.
And how to take care of it.
It's a big thing.
What does I guess the next question is, personally, what do you think of people who do tattoos just like a little tramp stamp, or a little something on the back there, just
kind of like on a whim?
Yeah.
I'm a very moderate, non-judgmental person. You've probably picked up on that.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a very extremist person, and I sit here on the internet a lot, and I just as a preempt, I go on Twitter, and all I see all day are complaints about a movie or a video game, and it's like, I never want to be like that. I never want to put down somebody else's work. I never want to be that judgmental. So I have no judgments towards people who get tramp stamps or something, because you know what? Maybe that tramp stamp makes them happy. maybe the tattoo they got, maybe they got a tattoo on a whim, maybe they went with their loved one, maybe that makes them happy. And I'm not going to be the one to judge that because I have fucking robot birds on my chest. And they make me happy. And I don't want anyone judging me for that. So I'm not going to judge somebody else for that. Because like I said, you got to do what you want in your life. And maybe I don't like that tattoo. Maybe I think that tattoo is ugly. But I'm not going to discredit you for it. Because if that tattoo makes you happy, then I can't touch it. I can't say anything about it.
That's what makes you such a wonderful personality and and a good person.
Like seriously, sometimes I want to strangle people. Oh, Ben Affleck is the new Batman. My life is over. You know what's really bad? Poverty. Like sometimes I just really want to be a little shit on Twitter and do stuff like that. But then I think, oh, these people are my friends. I'll let them complain if they want to.
I've felt the same way. There was a Tumblr post that somebody posted, and and I have no problems with what you believe. I'm I believe weird things myself. There's lots of people, but somebody posted a post that somebody put on their Facebook that said, I was afraid I didn't have enough yarn to finish this thing, but then I actually found out that I had more than I thought I did. The Lord came through for me. And somebody posted an image of, underneath it, in a reply, of the starving kids in Africa. And I went, okay, I'm not even going to read the rest of that post because that's going to make me hate humanity. It was just like, wow, it's very much the similar. Ben Affleck's the new, wow, well, hey, guess what? At least the Lord helped you. Wow.
I don't even care about Ben Affleck. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't know why I should.
Is Ben Affleck really the next Batman?
That's what they're saying. I don't know if that's true, but Nash made a really good point. And Nash has the ability to be very cynical.
Yes.
And very kind of what's the word? Just I guess cynical is the word. And I'm not all about cynicism. I mean, I'm a punk and I'm a goth, but I'm fairly moderate. But he actually made a really good point the other day. He said, remember when we thought Heath Ledger would make a bad Joker? Well then, I think we just got to give things a chance. I mean, we're so quick to jump on things that we don't even know about yet. I think that's a problem. I don't think we should be that quick to jump on something and just trash it,
Yes, you're absolutely right. Gosh, so many people, and I say that with the new Common Writer, because so many people ask me, whoa, what do you think about this new Common Writer? Is the fruit ninjas, her, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but I didn't even think that I would like Wizard, and I really like. This is totally over your head, but I'm still, for the chat, for the people who Common Writer fans, I give them a chance. You never know. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I did not start into because I thought it was going to be stupid have become some of my favorite things.
Yeah, me too.
I never watched Kamen Rider because I thought it was stupid, and now I love it. I never played Monster Hunter because I thought it was going to be boring, and it's one of my favorite games. And I never played Myst because I heard everybody talking about how boring it was, and it is, bar none, Myst and Riven, top favorite game of all time.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Myst. So, Myst and Riven, my two favorite games.
I don't like those games, but it's only because I grew up on third-person adventure games, and and I'm not a big logical puzzle person, but I would never discredit the game, though. I don't like it. I don't like the game. I don't find it fun, but I would never discredit it as a bad game. I would never say it's a piece of shit or anything like that. I would never say that. I would just say I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's got such a place in video game history, and I give credit to that.
And I liked it because when I was in third grade, my teacher showed us a magazine. God, third grade, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it was 1980. Oh my God, I'm fucking old. So it was
Don't be
1980. I was in third grade, and my teacher was showing us this magazine that was. She said it was more of an adult magazine, but she said it was called Games Magazine. And it was very interesting because it had so many games, and I thought there was a game in here that I would show you guys. And that's when I really started to get into puzzle ideas and like things that weren't just the word search and weren't just crosswords. Because Games Magazine always had interesting things that were different and made you actually use your mind. And so I think it was either that Christmas or the Christmas of my fourth grade that my aunt every year would buy me a subscription to a year's subscription to Games Magazine, and that was the best. That was the best. I had all of these magazines, and I started puzzles, and I got into cryptograms,
Oh, nice.
and I didn't even think about it. And when my friend Max showed me Myst, I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, this is cultural anthropology right here. That's all this is. You have been thrown into a culture. Something has happened. What has happened? Now use your head. And I was like, and so many people don't get that. I think that's why they're like, well, there's no instructions or anything. No, that's the thing.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, you've something has happened. So what has happened? Teacher showed you adult magazines. No, it was an adult magazine in that it was more difficult than a third grader should be able.
The reading level.
Yeah, the reading level and stuff, and it was produced by Playboy. So it was.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll bet you didn't know that. Games Magazine
I didn't know that. No.
Originally started by the people who produced Playboy.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
But yeah, so that was the thing, you using your head, and so I always feel horrible when I can't figure out a puzzle, and it's just a using your head type of thing. It's a Dud the Big Red Truck type of thing. Mm-hmm. Although you probably don't know the Dud the Big Red Truck type of thing. There's a joke. A blonde calls into the fire department, says, "Help, help, my house is on fire." The fire department says, "All right, lady, where do you live?" She's like, "I live in the house that's on fire. It's over here. You've got to come quickly. Everything's burning inside." And they're like, "Lady, if you don't tell us where you live, how do you expect us to get there?" She says, "Duh, the Big Red Truck."
Nice.
And so that's become my thing for it's so simple, why didn't you think about it type of thing. Don't think about how do you expect us to get there. Well, duh, the Big Red Truck. So
I definitely grew up on more like some serious moon logic puzzles, which may explain some things about my brain. I really like the out there stuff that just doesn't make any sense at all, and some people find that frustrating, but I was kind of an odd child, so I actually really like that kind of stuff. And actually when Myst came out, I was very enamored with it. Beautiful game.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had never seen anything quite like Myst when that came out, and so even though I didn't like the gameplay, I have kind of a nostalgia almost to it for when it came out, and just beautiful, really pretty.
Yeah.
Really pretty game.
God, how did we I don't even know our line of logic to get to.
I have no idea, but I feel like I've hijacked your stream with like tattoo talk or something.
No, this is part of why people come in, because I like to just talk about stuff. We had in my design class, actually, I think this is where it kind of comes from. In my design class, we in college, my professor sat us down one day, and he said, "Now we're going to derail from the topic. That's just how my mind works." He's like, and sometimes people will do that too. And we were one day started the class off talking about serif type. Now, for those of you who don't know, serif type is the type of type, the type font where it has lines in it.
Right.
Where you
Courier.
Yeah,
Courier's serif font.
Exactly. And those lines were made so that when you put text next to each other on either stone or something, it doesn't crack the stone and in between the letters. So you actually make these little serifs, going up and down or side to side to make sure that when you're when you're carving in, that none of the other, breaks, because you're basically breaking stone, goes further on, and it just kind of kept. And they call it serif type. And so we started talking about other things. And the class derailed for 50 minutes. We were talking about heavy metal, we were talking about this, we were talking about that, and eventually he stops and he looks up at the clock, and just 10 seconds, he couldn't have timed it better. He just looked at the clock 10 seconds before the bell rings. He says, well, and so there you go. That's why we have serif type. And then the bell rang and it was like, oh, well, there you go. That 50 minutes, that's why we have serif type.
Sounds like a great conversation about serif type.
It was great. You're a sans serif fan yourself. Yeah, well, there you go, Times New Roman is a great example of serif.
Yep. Now, serif fonts are mostly used in print. People prefer to read serif fonts in print, but on the internet, we like sans serif fonts, like Arial, because it's easier to read on the internet.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Arial, actually.
I am too. I mean, I don't use Arial in my reviews. I use I don't know, I download a billion fonts a day, but yeah, I love Arial.
What is a good font? Because I got my editing computer now, which is now different than this Mac. Jason Bone gave me an editing computer, and I'm trying to get some more fonts on it. What would you suggest? Because that's one reason. Speaking of my design class, I'm not very good with type. I'm not good with figuring out type, figuring out what's the best type for this situation.
Okay.
What would you suggest? What would you suggest for using for end credits and maybe a copyright? You can play this 2013.
Basically, what I do throughout my videos is I am a big fan, and so are studies have been shown. Other people are big fans of consistency. So if I choose a font for my video, it's going to be the same font throughout the entire video, depending on what the video is.
Yeah.
So for example, for my Follow the Reader video, that's a Disney game, I chose to use the Disney font. I went to Duh Font and downloaded the Disney font, and I kept that consistent. I never strayed from that font. The credits were in Disney font. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never stick to one font. I always kind of make it, I make it different for each video. So in my recent video, Top 10 Deaths, I used a font called the Bates Shower. It's just it's like a psycho themed font, and I'll use that for the whole video. So I don't really stick to just one font for the credits. I always make sure it's themed. I always theme it towards the video, and if I choose that font, it's going to be consistent.
Okay. Because I usually
that's what I do.
Because I usually do a font, and then I'll keep it for a season. And I remember I used Futura for a while. I used Discun for certain ones when I'm really talking about specific, Nintendo or Famicom games. I'll use Discun, which is a downloadable font. It's based off of the Famicom Disk system.
I have an idea. We can figure this out real quick, actually. Or, well, maybe not real quick, but you've met Clint from Lazy Game Reviews, right?
Yeah.
He's actually one of my best friends. He's my control group. I show him my reviews before they go out, and he comments on them. But he has a logo for Lazy Game Reviews, and it's always in the same font, and it's the font that comes from the IBM PC. And so, but that, I mean, that is relevant to him. You know what I mean? That font is him to a T. It comes